Monday, September 8th. You can see I'm in a calendar over here. This is Mandy's dashboard for her Google Calendar, and this is Mandy's dashboard for Calendar Snack. She's the organizer for these three things, and then she's the organizer with regards to the data that's in our NFL demo here in this page here. And what I'm going to show you is how that data got in real quick, and then show you how the calendar invite works off the NFL page. So let's get to it. I'm going to go into her calendar. You're going to see she used a single command. That was create@calendarsnack.com. If I go to essentially this prop here, just one slide here, create@calendarsnack.com, she essentially loaded all the NFL games onto her calendar, doing a mass bulk upload from fixturedownload.com. That's a real simple process. It takes no more than about an hour to get the whole NFL up on one calendar. And then in another hour or so, she basically went in and sent these individual games to create@calendarsnack.com. And this was our ingest box. And we ingested the data, we disassembled it, and we put it here in this nice event organizer dashboard. So all the NFL data is in here. We've done the MLB as well as the NBA. We're back to the NFL. So that's just a quick setup there. And then what I'm going to show you is essentially how her custom landing page mini site that she had built by Arnie is being used with regards to the data in the wild, and how the game structure works using the NFL data that was ingested into the calendar invite server. The calendar invite server is the back-end infrastructure for AWS that we built that's running this interface here and then running this interface here. This side here is a calendar for Zach, who is a customer downstream. He's the one that's going to use Mandy's custom-built landing page for the NFL mini site and send a calendar invite and show up on his calendar, and then we'll track that data. So that's a setup of the story. Let's get going. Let's start off here. I'm in her calendar. You can see create@calendarsnack.com. That's how the data got over here. Let's go ahead and drill into this particular day. So today's the 8th. There's only one game on the calendar. We'll take a peek at it right here. And it's Monday Night Football, Bears versus the Vikings. So you can see that this is the message body. It's the same as this message body because we mimic the data that's on the personal calendar, and when it's sent to the AWS calendar invite server we built, we scribe it into the database, the UID, and then we keep track of it. Once it's registered in the database, we do keep track of it, and that's the cool part of our tech. So you can see there that under guests or attendees, create@calendarsnack.com is there. I'm not going to touch that. What I'm going to do is go grab some data off of my notepad and say, basically jam in a promotion there, pretending that I have a booth there and it's a surprise vendor booth, and I'm doing a promotion whereby this person, anybody that basically off my website that I've shared this custom mini website for the NFL with is a VIP, and I want them to stop by booth 983, meet the team, and then get a free jersey. So that's the premise of the promotion. I'm going to send it, and what I did was I pushed it using that same create@calendarsnack.com, which is a sticky address, if you will, to the database. And so what happened over here is we incremented that data in the database and then sent it to the APIs. I'm reflashing it right here. There's the API update of the data right there. So what's going to happen downstream here when I click this button is I am going to refresh the screen, and you'll see that Greg has not received a calendar invite yet. If I was to go to Zach, he already received it, so I'm not going to go there. I'll stick to my plan here. Let's go to week 1 and scroll down. There it is there. That's the Bears game I want to get onto my calendar for Greg. I'm going to change this from Zach to Greg. So I put my name in there. And as I scroll down, you can see I'm going to say get the calendar invite. And the invite has been sent. It is going to reach this box over here in a second. And you should see it. And if it doesn't, I've essentially screwed up the demo, and there it is right there. So there it is. Demo is working. It is fine. I said yes to that event. So you've seen basically the whole pipeline work. and I go back to my slides to kind of walk through the pipeline real quick. Now I'll show you what happens when I update the data as well. So there's create at calendarsnack.com. I sent it originally to this email box here. We digested the information into the CalendarVite server. The CalendarSnack engine's running on top of it. I showed you that we had a mini site built. That's with the Mandy data. It's ingested all Mandy's data off her calendar, and then Greg, in this particular demo, put his email address in and sent it to his email address, and you saw the calendar invite show up right here. So Greg has sent back a yes, and we're actually collecting the calendar receipt data. And how we do that is important because we're the only piece of technology on the net that does this via APIs. So what's happened here is I've gone in, I've put in an email address, Greg. It uses this UID endpoint, which is a CalendarVite endpoint. We match the email address and the UID together. We send out the calendar invite, and then Greg said yes. And so what happens is we're requesting this participant to be collected. This is basically a calendar receipt, and we send that back up and collect that data to an API gateway, and basically collected in here. We disassemble the calendar invite information and we put it in the master dashboard of Mandy so she can track her data. Kind of a very important part of our tech stack. So as I go back, you'll find out that I'm going to update it one more time here for Monday Night Football. I'm going to go back and I'm going to change the booth number to 1000. And you're going to see this pipeline work here real quick. I leave the create command alone, create at calendarsnack.com. That is going to create that sticky connection to the database. We update the database here, and you'll see that we changed here automatically to 1000 because we're using the same APIs. And then downstream, when I click the Chrome button here, you're going to see that this here will be updated. So just going to wait a second here, and we'll get an update here. And there it is right there. There's the update here, and the update's going to say booth 1000. I'm going to say yes to it. Now, with regards to data tracking, I go back here, and I'm going to reflash this screen, and we'll make sure it's the right game. And you'll see that this data here is showing that there are 2 respondents on one of them. Both have said yes to the game. That's the end of the demo. If I wanted to, I could click this invite report and get the email address. But since I know the characters of this show and I'm the master demo creator, I know that I'm responding back and forth now to the calendar receipts. Now what I could do live is show you all, if I said maybe, that's going to send the calendar receipt back, basically what I said here. So if I do change my disposition on my calendar invite as Greg downstream, it's going to basically resend that data, collect it, and parse it. And so how would you know that? Well, I'm going to go back to Mandy's calendar snack app that's working with those APIs. I'm going to reflash the screen. You can see one is tentative. And that was me, Greg, as a demo master moving the data around. So that's a wrap up. Appreciate you stopping by. I do have one master slide. I can show you all essentially how the Crazy Machine does work in the pipeline. And the pipeline looks like this. Essentially, we have this big pipeline pumping data into the calendar invite server which we built. This messaging layer is always basically listening to the APIs, regenerating data when pages are refreshed, talking to the databases. These APIs are down here talking to the service layer. And then in the 25-26 season, I showed you how Greg put his email address in. He used the API 1, which is in the background, clicked one button, and then we matched the UID out of the database for that game, matched it to his email, and then we recreated the calendar invite on the fly, sent it to him, and we collected the data. That's the end of the demo. Thanks.